Singapore saw its third wettest southwest monsoon season in the past 40 years last year. That's according to the latest annual climate assessment report, which tracks trends in temperature and rainfall as climate change heats up. It's usually drier during the southwest monsoon season, which stretches from June to September. But the Met Service says total rainfall during this period last year was 30% higher than the long-term average due to reasons like a convergence of winds. The wetter weather also roughly coincided with La Nina conditions, which developed in the third quarter. The phenomenon tends to bring about cooler temperatures for Singapore. In fact, September was one of the only 2 months with below-average temperatures last year. But still, 2020 rounded up as Singapore's 8th warmest year. The annual mean temperature came in at 28 degrees Celsius.
And for more, we have with us Associate Professor Koh Tieh Yong, a weather and climate scientist at the Singapore University of Social Sciences. So, Professor Koh, 2020 was an unusually wet year. Just how significant is that? And should we be expecting more of such occurrences in the coming years?
Well, the 2020 southwest monsoon being wet is part of the nature's cycle of La Nina. It brings rain over to this region. However, this kind of wet weather could be exacerbated by some kind of global climate change. But generally speaking, right now, the research on how global warming is correlated with La Nina is not so strong. The observational evidence we have of La Nina is quite sparse because we haven't been observing the atmosphere for so long. Instead, scientists look at climate models to simulate the atmosphere, and from there, try to understand a bit more about how La Ninas will change. But still, the models have a lot of room for improvement, and right now, it's not possible to say exactly how. For example, whether we'll get more La Ninas or less La Ninas in the future, or whether each La Nina will bring in more or less rainfall. So this is something that's still being researched. But La Nina, by and large, are natural phenomena, and they do bring wetter weather over here.
Professor, until the monsoon season, Singapore actually recorded 28 warmer than average months in a row. How concerned should we be, and how much are we expecting the country to heat up?
The 28 consecutive months of warmer than average monthly mean temperature, that is the result of three causes. Number one, there's the El Nino that started to develop in 2018 and then mature in 2019. And then as it slowly decayed away in mid-2019, it triggered a strong positive phase of Indian Ocean dipole. And Indian Ocean dipoles, they are again natural climatic variations. So that part explained, for the most part, why we had such a long period of warm temperature. However, we must know that over the last 50 years, Singapore's background temperature has been rising. And the reason for that is partly because of global warming, and partly because at a local scale, we have been urbanizing, and that increases our surface temperature. So with this backdrop of warmer background temperature, at the end of 2019, when the Indian Ocean dipole subsided, so our atmosphere went back to a new normal that is warmer than the long-term average temperature. And so that again prolonged the period of warmer than average temperature. So as a result, we have this record-breaking long stretch of warmer than average temperatures. Now, the natural causes are natural and they are there all the time. But what we should be concerned about is the third factor, which is the long-term rise in background temperature, which is exacerbating the impacts of these natural climate variations. And for that, we look at, for example, global warming, and that relies on international cooperation to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And for the local urban heat island effect, that at the national level, we can do something as well. We in building our new towns, for example, the Tengah new town, there are features that are put in using blue spaces, green spaces, and having wind corridors to help to keep temperature low. So these are things that we can do, and as we are concerned about the human impact on our surface temperature.
All right, I'm afraid that's all the time we have. Thank you very much, Professor Koh Tieh Yong from the Singapore University of Social Sciences.